The night before the bond ceremony, the moonlight was like silver, sprinkling over the altar of the werewolf tribe. The moon goddess chose Jonah's white moonlight, Emma, and assigned her to William, the tyrannical alpha of the werewolf tribe. His blood flows with the power of the ancient wolf king, but also with untamed wildness. Rumor has it that every woman who spends the night with William will be covered in bruises the next day. William's desire is intertwined with his wolf nature, and the silver bed is his unique symbol. Silver is poison and a test for werewolves. William would let those women lie on the cold silver bed, watching their pain of being eroded by silver and the joy of desire intertwined, making painful moans and confused gasps. This contradictory torture is the catalyst for his wild desire. Jonah knows William's cruelty well, and he can't bear Emma to be the next victim. So, under the protection of the moonlight, he kidnapped Emma one step ahead and completed the marking ceremony with her under the witness of the moon goddess. And I, the woman abandoned by Jonah, the vows I made turned to ashes under the moonlight, and my name became a laughingstock in the tribe. In the evening, the setting sun was like blood, and William's figure appeared in front of my tent. His golden pupils flickered in the twilight with the aggression of a beast. His voice was low and threatening. Since Jonah has robbed my partner, you can be my Luna. How about it? Of the alpha in the werewolf tribe, symbolizes power and glory, but also means endless bondage and danger. I raised my head, looked directly into his eyes, and a sneer appeared at the corner of my mouth. Okay, I can be your Luna, and we can go to the moon goddess and swear an oath right now. My voice was calm and firm, as if announcing an irreversible fate. William obviously hadn't expected me to agree so straightforwardly. His golden pupils shrank slightly, like a wolf stalking its prey in the dark. A playful smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, revealing sharp canine teeth. He stretched out his hand, and his fingertips brushed across my cheek. The rough touch carried the intense heat unique to werewolves, as if it could burn my skin. Then you wait for me to marry you. His voice was low and hoarse, with an unquestionable majesty. What? Are you really willing? He was stunned for a moment, and then asked incredulously, I am tyrannical and abuse women. Won't you reconsider? I looked straight into his eyes and nodded. His smile instantly widened, revealing more sharp teeth, like a wolf that finally caught its prey. Then it settled. There was a hint of excitement in his voice. But don't worry, after all, you are my Luna. I have to prepare well. I will come to pick you up after I have begun prepare the preparations for our wedding ceremony in 5 days. After that, he turned and left, his steps light, like a wolf running in the moonlight. His back disappeared. Outside the tent, leaving only a faint earthy scent. Is such a man really as cruel as the legend says? A trace of curiosity arose in my heart, but another emotion dread soon overwhelmed me. Harper, are you there? Jonah's low voice came from outside the tent, interrupted my thoughts. The next moment, he directly lifted the curtain and walked in. His figure was tall and familiar, but at this moment it made me feel extremely strange. His silver-gray pupils flickered in the dim light, like an uneasy wolf. Who were you talking to just now? What wedding ceremony? There was a hint of tension in his voice, as if he smelled some kind of threat. I rolled my eyes in annoyance. What's it got to do with you? You're a wolf with a partner. Why are you looking for me? He took a step forward and stretched out his hand to pull my hand, but I dodged it sideways. His fingertips paused in the air, then clenched into a fist, and his knuckles turned white because of the force. Harper, I know you're still angry with me. His voice was low and hoarse with a hint of pleading. But I really can't sit idly by and watch Emma's matter. After all, you know those rumors about William. I just couldn't bear to see her being tortured by William, so I took her away. I lowered my head, and a sneer appeared at the corner of my mouth. He couldn't bear to see Emma being tortured by William? So, he had the heart to watch me being criticized and wronged in vain? Jonah and I were designated as destined partners 3 years ago. We have been getting along as partners, and everyone knew that I was to be his woman in the future. But I didn't expect that he would mark someone else before the bond ceremony. What will the other people in the wolf pack think of me? A female werewolf abandoned by her destined partner. I would become the object of everyone's ridicule. How could he not see the grievances I had suffered? For Emma? Didn't he care about my life or death? I didn't want such a man. Jonah was still explaining incessantly, Harper, I have always loved you the most. Can you give me a little more time? I marked Emma just to let her escape from William's clutches. After Emma finds her true partner, I will release my mate bond with her, and then mark you and compensate you with a grand bond ceremony. I listened to his light words, and my heart became completely chilled. We have been dating for so long, and he chose to wrong me for Emma and still said he loved me? What a hypocritical wolf. I won't wait for you. I have found my destined partner, Jonah. Put away your cheap love. Jonah's face sank, and his pupils shrank into a thin line, like a wolf about to attack. There was a hint of a threat in his voice. Harper, don't be ungrateful. I am the head beta of the pack. As long as I say a word, no one will dare to marry you. When the time comes, you will come back to me, obediently. I stared at him with my eyes wide open in disbelief. I didn't expect that my mate, who I had grown up with together, would say such shameless words. Jonah, are you so sure that I will let you do whatever you want? My voice was cold and sharp, like a knife unsheathed. Jonah sneered, revealing his sharp canine teeth. What else can you do? If you don't obey, you will end up alone. I was so angry that I trembled all over, and the wolf instinct in my body almost broke through the shackles of reason. My nails grew longer, unconsciously, and there was a tingling pain in my fingertips. Get out of here! I growled with the roar of a werewolf in my voice. Even if I don't marry for the rest of my life, I will never marry you again. You hypocritical beta. After that, I pushed him out of the tent. His figure looked particularly embarrassed in the moonlight, like a wolf driven out of its territory. The tent was silent again, with only my rapid breathing. I looked down at my hands. The wolf claws on my fingertips had retracted, but the anger in my heart could not be calmed for a long time. I knew that from this moment on, my fate would no longer be controlled by anyone. Neither Jonah nor William could make me surrender. I am Harper, a female werewolf of the Moon Shadow Pack, and my fate belonged only to me. That night, I was so angry that I couldn't sleep. The moonlight poured in through the gap of the tent like a layer of cold frost. My werewolf instinct made me particularly sensitive to the moonlight, and the energy of the full moon surged in my blood, as if reminding me that my fate was hanging by a thread. Jonah's words were like a sharp wolf claw, tearing my heart apart. In the tribe, the fate of a werewolf is closely linked to its partner. If you don't have a partner at a certain age, you will be treated as a pariah, looked down upon, or even expelled from the tribe. Did Jonah think I would give in to him and go back to be his second mate? My pride wouldn't allow for it. I turned over, and William's figure appeared in my mind. His golden pupils were as sharp as a beast, with an unquestionable majesty. He said he wanted to marry me. Was that true? At least marrying him would make me his Luna, which was much better than marrying Jonah. While thinking about this, a low sound of footsteps and heavy breathing unique to werewolves suddenly came from outside the tent. I pricked up my ears alertly, and the wolf instinct in my body put me on alert instantly. Luna Harper, are you in there? The voices of several young and middle-aged werewolves came from outside the tent, with a respectful tone but a hint of wildness. I opened the curtain and saw them standing in the moonlight, wearing heavy animal skins, with a light flashing in their eyes. They saluted me with crisp movements, like a group of loyal wolves paying tribute to their alpha. These gifts were sent by Lord William. The leading werewolf whispered, with a hint of awe in his voice. The gifts they brought into the tent stunned me. Precious snow fox skins, boxes filled with gold coins, and a dagger inlaid with wolf teeth. The snow fox skins flashed silver light in the moonlight, as if with the blessing of the moon goddess. Only then did I realize that these were a lover's gift. Jonah, words were instantly thrown out of my mind. Although William had a bad reputation, he was at least generous. Jonah and I have known each other for so many years, but he had never given me anything. I was in a good mood and carefully packed up all the gifts. Each gift was exotic and rare, signaling William's power and status. The next day, Jonah came to my tent again. When he saw the gifts all over the tent, he smiled smugly, as if all of this was to please him. "Harper, you prepared so many things just to win my favor again." There was a hint of sarcasm in his voice, and his silver-gray pupils shrank slightly, like a self-righteous wolf. "Okay, I forgive you," he said shamelessly. "I said you must care about me, and I will make a contract with you after Emma, and I cancel the mate bond in a year." I was speechless for a while. How had I not realized that he was so narcissistic? Why did he think I will wait for him? Why did he think that these gifts were for him? Emma followed him, with an ivory token from Jonah's family hanging around her neck. It was an honor I had never received. When she saw the gifts in the tent, a hint of jealousy flashed in her eyes, but she quickly concealed it. "Harper, you are really willing to spend a lot of money to marry Jonah," she said with a hint of sarcasm in her voice. "Brother Jonah, it seems that Harper really values you." Jonah smiled proudly. "I said it a long time ago, Harper only has me in her heart." He took out a Mishapen bow and arrows and threw it in front of me. "I made this for you." I looked at the bow and arrow, and then at the ivory token on Emma's neck, and my heart ached. He said that I was the one he loved the most, but he only gave me a broken bow and arrow to send me away. The ivory token heirloom was given to Emma, who he had just met. In his heart, it was clear who was more important. Emma. I threw the bow and arrow back to him with a cold face. "Jonah, I don't want your gift. If you come here to show off your relationship with Emma, can you leave now?" Jonah's face darkened instantly, and his pupils shrank into a thin line, like a rabid wolf. "Harper, how dare you do this to me?" There was a hint of malice in his voice. "I told you this bow and arrow was made by me for you. If you don't want it, forget it." After saying that, he threw the bow and arrow into the bonfire in anger. The flames instantly devoured the bow and arrow, making a crackling sound, as if laughing at his stupidity. Seeing this, Emma quickly took out a cloak from her bag. "Brother Jonah, don't be angry." "Harper, if you don't like that, I have prepared a cloak for you. I made this with my own hands using animal skins at home. You can wear it when I attend the bond ceremony with Jonah in a while." I glanced at the cloak in her hand and found it even more ridiculous. In the tribe, only female werewolves who are despised and ridiculed by the entire tribe need to wear cloaks when they go out. Wasn't this a blatant humiliation for her to give me this thing? I turned cold. "Jonah, you all decided in unison to give me these things. Aren't you just trying to make me bow my head and give in?" "I tell you, it's impossible." I further screamed, "Since you have a partner, don't bother me anymore. Now, please leave my tent immediately." Jonah and Emma froze in place. They hadn't expected me to be so disrespectful to them. Emma's face turned pale, but she was still unwilling to give up. She walked towards me with a cloak. "Harper, I spent a lot of effort to make this cloak. Just accept it, otherwise I will feel bad." As she said that, she suddenly slipped and fell towards me. Before I could dodge, she screamed and fell to the ground. Seeing this, Jonah was furious. "Harper, you dare push Emma!" While he anxiously helped Emma up and hugged her in his arms, he glared at me fiercely. "She gave you a gift out of kindness. You don't appreciate it, but you pushed her? A vicious woman like you deserves to be lonely all your life and can't find a partner." After that, he hurriedly hugged Emma and ran out to find a witch doctor. I looked at Jonas caring for Emma and felt my blood extremely chill. The moonlight sprinkled on his silver-gray hair, reflecting the gentle light in his eyes like a wolf, protecting its cubs. However, that light never stayed for me. Thinking back to the past, Emma was at the bottom of the pack. She had no family, no status, and even no territory of her own. She could only wander around the edges of the tribe like a lone wolf, and barely survived by doing dirty and tiring work for others. By chance, Jonah met her during hunt. That day, Emma was besieged by a group of wild wolves, and Jonah was like a wolf king who fell from the sky and saved her. Since then, Jonah has cared more and more about her, even more than me, his destined partner. He often secretly sent her prey and animal skins behind my back, and even taught her hunting skills. Every time I questioned him, he said that he just felt sorry for Emma and wanted to help her. But now it seemed that he had probably fallen in love with Emma for a long time and had been making excuses to me. The next day was the annual hunting festival in the tribe. This was one of the most important festivals for werewolves. Young werewolves will hunt together during the day to show their strength and skills, and hold a grand dance at night around the bonfire to celebrate the harvest and victory. In the past, Jonah would take me with him at this time. He would show me the biggest prey he hunted, and then declare a love to everyone at the dance. But this year, Jonah threw me aside for Emma. I didn't want to be sad for him anymore, so I went to the dance alone. At the dance, the bonfire was burning, and the firelight reflected on the werewolves' faces, reflecting the wildness and excitement in their eyes. The air was filled with the aroma of barbecue and the unique fishy smell of werewolves, and low wolf howls and laughter came to my ears. However, as soon as I arrived at the dance, I heard the whispers of other werewolves. "Hey, have you heard? Jonah actually brought Emma, who has no family background and no status, with him." "Yeah, I just saw Jonah give her a pair of exquisite antler crowns with the deer he hunted during the day. They are so beautiful. I heard that Jonah even gave up his previously agreed partner for her. What a loving couple. Deer are very rare here, and only the most powerful werewolves can hunt them. Jonah obviously put a lot of effort this time. I could never have expected him to work so hard to please Emma. And I once mentioned to him that I hoped to wear a beautiful antler crown when I made the covenant. But he either said that he couldn't spare the time or that deer were too hard to find, and tried every way to shirk. At this time, Emma suddenly walked in front of me with a winner's smile on her face. She held a wreath made of wild flowers in her hand and handed it to me. "Harper, Brother Jonah asked me to give this to you. He said that although you don't want to wait for him to form a bond in a year, you are still special in his heart." It's so ridiculous. Why should I wait for him for a year? Why does he think that I will agree to him forming a bond with another female werewolf first, and I will still be with him after the mate bond is lifted in a year? I glared at the cheap wreath. Jonah gave the precious antler crown to Emma, but used a bunch of worthless wild flowers to get rid of me. Did he think that I so cheap? I glanced at her coldly and walked past her. Emma's face became embarrassed in an instant. She bit her lip and looked at Jonah, aggrievedly. Seeing this, Jonah's face suddenly became rabid, and his pupils shrank into a thin line, like an angry wolf. "Harper, what is the meaning of this? Are you looking down on the gifts I gave you? Did I spoil you too much in the past, and now you are arrogant?" After saying that, he pulled Emma to the other side, and the two of them talked and laughed by the campfire. I looked at their backs, and I felt puzzled. Just then, a servant suddenly walked up to me, bowed his head respectfully, and exposed his neck to show his submission. "Luna Harper, this is what Lord William asked me to give you." After saying that, he handed over an exquisite box with both hands. I opened it and saw an exquisite ivory crown with a dazzling blue crystal on it and my name engraved below. Looking at this crown, I was immediately surprised and happy. Ivory and blue crystal are the rarest treasures in the pack. It is a great honor to get one of them. I carefully put away the crown and took it back to Tommy tent. That night, I placed the crown next to my pillow and I felt warm in my heart when I looked at it. In the blink of an eye, it was the day of the wedding ceremony. Early in the morning, I got up and dressed myself up carefully, adorning myself with the crown William gave me. This crown was the most precious gift I had ever received, and I had to wear it on this most important day. When I walked out of the tent, I saw Jonah guarding the door with 2 other werewolves, holding the cloak he gave me before. When he saw me dressed in this gorgeous outfit, his face suddenly became angry, and a trace of dangerous light flashed in his pupils. "Harper, why are you dressed so ostentatiously today? Today is Emma and I's wedding ceremony. Why are you trying to steal the limelight? Do you want to hold the ceremony with me on behalf of Emma? I tell you it's impossible. It can only be done in a year. I advise you to take off these fancy things and put on the cloak. Otherwise, what will others think?" I looked at his condescending look and just found it funny. "Jonah, are you so self-indulgent? When did I ever say I would marry you today?" Jonah looked down on my words and showed his sharp canine teeth. "Don't be stubborn, Harper. You've been in love with me for so many years. You are speaking angrily now, but be careful not to lose face later." As soon as the voice fell, a low wolf howl suddenly came from the distance, followed by the sound of horse hooves and the running of wolves. A large group of people and horses came over in a mighty manner, led by William. He rode on the back of a huge black wolf, covered in thick animal skin, and his golden eyes flashed wildly in the sun. After seeing me, he said loudly and enthusiastically, "My Luna, I've been waiting for a long time." When Jonas saw William, his face suddenly became very ugly, and his silver-gray pupils shrank into a thin line, like a wolf whose territory was invaded. "Alpha William, what are you doing here?" His voice was low and hoarse, with a hint of a threat. William glanced at him. A mocking smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, and his golden pupils flashed wild light in the sun. "Of course, I'm here to greet my partner, Harper." His voice was full of unquestionable majesty, like a wolf king declaring sovereignty. After speaking, he stretched out his hand to me. His palm was rough and warm, with the unique heat of a werewolf. I accepted his without hesitation, and I felt the warmth of his palm, causing my heart to beat with excitement. I raised my head, looked at Jonah, and said, "Jonah, this is the person I want to marry today." Jonah's face turned pale in an instant, like a defeated wolf. His ears trembled slightly, and there was a tremor in his voice. "Harper, what are you talking about? Didn't we make an appointment? You were to attend the covenant ceremony between Emma and me today, send us blessings, and then wait for me to marry you in a year. How can you marry someone else?" I looked at him coldly, and my tone was very firm. "Jonah, I'm not kidding. I'm going to marry Alpha William today." Jonah panicked, and his tone became weak. "Harper, are you still angry with me? Are you doing this deliberately? Marriage is a lifelong event. You must not make such a hasty decision because of a momentary impulse." I looked at him pretending to care about me, and I just felt it was ridiculous. "Jonah, I'm not angry. This is a decision I have seriously considered. People like you are not worthy of my entrustment for life." After that, I wanted to leave with William, but Jonah was relentless and stretched out his hand to stop us, his fingertips almost touching my arm. "Harper, don't leave. We have been together for so many years. How can you just say no? Wait for me. When I have settled Emma, I will definitely give you a grand ceremony to tie the knot." I looked at his panicked look and felt extremely sad. He used to be so arrogant, but now he has even given up his dignity to win me back. I shook his hand off coldly. My tone was as cold as frost. "Jonah, it's over between us. You should be with Emma in the future, and don't ever come to me again." Seeing that time was running out, I was a little anxious. Jonah's voice became louder and louder, attracting the attention of the werewolves around. Many werewolves stopped and looked at us curiously. The air was filled with tension. I frowned and whispered, "Jonah, don't make trouble anymore. Aren't you embarrassed?" Jonah seemed to be crazy. Not only did he not retreat, but he put on a posture of fighting to the death. His pupils completely turned into the vertical pupils of a wolf, and a low roar came from his throat. "I won't let go, Harper. If you dare to go with Alpha William today, don't blame me for being rude." I looked at his hysterical look, and my heart couldn't help but tighten. Could it be that he really wanted to fight with me at this time? William also noticed that the atmosphere was not right. He protected me behind him and looked at Jonah coldly, with a dangerous light flashing in his golden pupils. "Jonah, haven't you caused enough trouble? Harper has chosen me. If you keep pestering me, don't blame me for what will happen next." But Jonah wasn't listening anymore. He growled and summoned his wolf spirit, a giant silver-gray wolf with erect hair and exposed fangs. "William, I will never let you take Harper away." William sneered and summoned his own wolf spirit, a larger black wolf with golden pupils like burning flames. The two wolf spirits glared at each other and roared loudly, and the air was filled with the strong smell of wolf. The atmosphere became tense in an instant, and the surrounding werewolves were also frightened and retreated, leaving the clearing. Seeing that the situation was not good, Jonah's servants rushed and grabbed him. "Lord Jonah, calm down. William is an alpha. If we fight, we will definitely suffer." But Jonah didn't care, still staring at us, like a wolf who refused to admit defeat. The servants had no choice but to force him to leave, but he still gritted his teeth, as if he had used up all his strength, and shouted loudly, "Harper, don't be fooled by him. You and Alpha William will not be happy. Although he is an alpha, he is cruel and abuses female wolves. Believe me, I am the only one who loves you the most." I saw his hysterical appearance, but my heart was surprisingly calm. The moonlight sprinkled on his silver-gray hair, reflecting the madness and unwillingness in his eyes, like a wolf forced into a desperate situation. However, my feelings for him had completely died when he chose Emma. I stopped looking at him, but turned around and took William's arm. His arms were strong and warm, with the unique heat of werewolves. We walked towards the temple of the moon goddess together, and the moonlight sprinkled on us like silver yarn, as if crowning our oath. In front of the temple, we swore to each other and made an eternal promise. William's golden pupils flashed a firm light in the moonlight, like a wolf king guarding his territory. His voice was deep and powerful, with unquestionable majesty. "I, William, swear in the name of the moon goddess that I will only be loyal to Harper in this life." I looked at him, a warm current surged in my heart, and whispered back, "I, Harper, swear in the name of the moon goddess that I will only be loyal to William in this life." When the ceremony ended, we finally became true partners. The cheers of the tribesmen rang out around us, and the howling of wolves came one after another, as if celebrating our union. I looked down at myself, then at my hand with William, and I couldn't help feeling a little emotional. "What are you thinking about?" William's voice interrupted my thoughts, and I looked up at him and smiled slightly. "Nothing. I just suddenly felt that I made the right decision." William smiled when he heard it, showing his sharp canine teeth. "Of course, choosing me was the wisest decision in your life." We smiled at each other and were about to go back together. Suddenly, there was a noise outside the temple, mixed with low wolf howls and angry roars. Jonah actually came back with a group of servants, gathering in front of the temple gate in a menacing manner. His silver-gray hair stood up, and his pupils completely turned into the vertical pupils of a wolf, like an angry wolf. "Harper, you come with me. I can't let you be with this man." I looked at him and sneered in my heart. He obviously already had Emma, and now he came to pester me. Why hadn't I realized that this man was so greedy before? William was much calmer than me. He patted my hand gently and motioned me to stay calm. "Wait for me here. I'll take care of this." After saying that, he went out to meet him. After a while, he walked back again. Jonah and his servants had disappeared. Only William's clothes were stained with dust, and there was still a trace of wolf smell in the air. I raised my hand to straighten his clothes. "I'm so sorry that you got into this trouble." But William just smiled heartily, showing his sharp canine teeth. "There's no need to apologize for this. After all, you are my Luna." I went back to his tent with William. As night fell, I sat nervously by the window, and the moonlight sprinkled in through the cracks in the tent like a layer of sea frost. I thought about the rumors about William, and I felt a little uneasy. Will I be tortured by him like those women later? But he doesn't look like such a cruel and vicious person. I was so busy thinking about it that I didn't notice that William had walked in. His golden pupils flashed a gentle light in the dim light, like a wolf guarding his partner. "What's wrong?" he asked with concern. "No, nothing." I smiled awkwardly and lay on the bed with him. But, surprisingly, there was no silver under the bed, and William didn't fight me as I imagined. He just held me gently in his arms, and his breath gradually relaxed me. "I thought you were really like the rumors," I muttered in a low voice while looking at his handsome face. "Rumors? What rumors?" He asked curiously, as if he knew nothing about those words. "People in the tribe often see women with bruises all over their bodies coming out of your tent. So, everyone said that you make them lie on a silver bed with you overnight and torture them for fun." William was amused by my words, showing his sharp canine teeth. "How is that possible? Why wouldn't he do that?" "The reason why there are women with bruises all over their bodies coming in and out of my tent is because I have studied with the witch doctor before and know how to treat silver injuries. Those women came to me for treatment." I suddenly realized that all this was a misunderstanding. "Okay, my Luna, don't think about it anymore. There are more important things to do tonight." He lowered his head and kissed my lips, and my face suddenly turned red. "Is this your first time? If it hurts, you can tell me." He turned over and hugged me, and the air between us gradually began to heat up. I reached out and hugged his neck. After a long night, I opened my eyes in a daze. Everyone said that William was rude and bloodthirsty, but he was gentle and considerate last night, which was completely different from what others described. "Luna Harper, are you awake? Breakfast is ready." Immediately, a maid came forward to serve me. I knew it was William's order. "What happened outside?" I just walked to the door of the tent and heard a noise outside. "Oh, it's Jonah who came again." The maid replied, "He came early this morning and said he must see you and ask for your forgiveness. Just now his partner came too, and the two of them were pulling each other. But Alpha William has just driven them away, so you don't have to worry." I couldn't help but sigh. Jonah had treated Emma like a precious jewel before, but now he came to me without caring about her mood. Maybe he didn't like any of us at all, but just liked the one he couldn't get. Suddenly, William came in with a look of excitement, holding a golden rabbit in his hand. "Harper, look. I just found a golden rabbit in the forest and brought it back to you immediately. Look how cute it is. It can keep you company, so you won't feel bored in the future." He half knelt in front of me like offering a treasure, and I was a little shy for a while. I didn't expect that William was not only different from the rumors, but also clingier than I imagined. He made me happy in different ways every day, and searched for new and interesting trinkets everywhere and gave them to me. That day, I went out hunting with him, and met Jonah when I came back. Jonah looked a little embarrassed. His silver-gray hair was covered with dirt and blood, and there were several deep scratches on his face, as if he had been torn by a wild beast. His pupils completely turned into the vertical pupils of a wolf, flashing with crazy light, like a wolf forced into a desperate situation. But he rushed towards me regardless of everything, and let out a low roar from his throat. "Harper, I was wrong. I was really wrong. I have asked Emma to break up the mate bond with me. You should also break up with that man and be with me again, okay? Think about it. We used to love each other so much. Are you really willing to give up on me, just like that?" I looked at him and found him ridiculous. It had come to this point and he still refused to give up. Jonah, if you keep talking nonsense, I will make you pay the price. William's face suddenly became savage, and a dangerous light flashed in his golden pupils. He growled and summoned his wolf spirit, a huge black wolf with bared fangs, ready to give Jonah a good beating. I quickly stopped him and turned to look at Jonah. Jonah, it's over between us. I am William's Luna now, and I have nothing to do with you anymore. I hope you don't bother me again, okay? I thought that after saying this, Jonah would give up even if he was still stubborn. But I didn't expect him to still stubbornly not listen to me, like a wolf who refused to admit defeat. Harper, I know you are still angry with me, but only I can give you happiness. That man is not suitable for you at all. Look at him, so rude. He will never treat you well. I looked at Jonah coldly. My nails grew longer unconsciously, and there was a tingling pain in my fingertips. Jonah, do you think you know me well? Do you think only you can make me happy? I tell you, I am with William now, and I am living a good life. He is gentle and considerate, 10,000 times better than you. So, please don't bother me again in the future, okay? My voice was cold and firm, and Jonah's face turned pale in an instant, like a defeated wolf. He opened his mouth, as if he wanted to say something, but William had lost his patience. He waved his hand and called the servants to drag Jonah out. But the next morning, when I woke up, I heard Emma kneeling at the door of my tent and crying. Her voice was like a wounded she-wolf. Harper, can you give Jonah back to me? I really can't live without him. Please have mercy on me. I frowned and walked to the door to look at her. Emma's face was full of tears, and around her neck was the ivory heirloom passed down from generation to generation in Jonah's family, which was an honor I had never received. Emma, I have nothing to do with Jonah anymore. This is all his wishful thinking, and it has nothing to do with you or me. If you really love him, you should go and persuade him not come to me. Emma seemed not to hear me, but just kept crying and begging me. Harper, you already have Alpha William, and you will definitely be happy in the future. But I am different. I am just an omega at the bottom, without your beauty and ability. If I lose Jonah, I will have nothing. Besides, I am already pregnant with Jonah's child. I can't let the child be born without a father. I looked at her impatiently. What did she mean by these words? Did I make Jonah abandon her? What does all this have to do with me? Emma, I've said everything I needed to say. If you really love Jonah, you should persuade him to give up instead of coming to me. I'm with William now, and I'm very happy. I don't want anyone to disturb us. After I said this, I wanted to close the door and go back to the tent. But Emma suddenly rushed over and grabbed my skirt tightly. Harper, I beg you, give Jonah back to me. I frowned and was about to ask someone to take her away when I saw Jonah running over in a hurry. His silver-gray hair was messy, and there were still traces of tears on his face. Emma, what are you doing? Jonah looked a little embarrassed, and he went up and pulled Emma up forcefully. I'm sorry, Harper. Emma hasn't been in a good mood recently, so she did this. Don't worry. I will never let her disturb you again in the future. As he spoke, he forcibly dragged Emma back. After that, I finally had a few days of peace. The energy of the full moon gradually faded, and the werewolves in the tribe also returned to human form. The air was filled with a faint smell of wolf and the aroma of herbs. But one noon, the maid suddenly handed me a letter, and her ears trembled slightly like an alert wolf. Luna Harper, here is your letter. I opened it in confusion, but found that it was written by Jonah. There was still a trace of werewolf on the letter paper, with the unique smell of Jonah's silver-gray hair. Harper, I found the woman who was tortured by William before. Come to me now, just meet her once, and you will know what kind of a bastard he is. I hesitated for a while. After all, I didn't know William for a long time, and I didn't know him that well. What if he didn't tell me the truth? What more? Jonah now has witnesses. I finally decided to meet him. I met Jonah in the woods on the edges of the tribe, and there was a young girl standing next to him. Jonah's silver-gray hair was in disarray, and there were still traces of tears on his face, like a wolf that was expelled from its territory. As soon as Jonah saw me, he immediately pulled me excitedly, and the rough touch of his fingertips made me feel uncomfortable. Harper, I told you that you should have believed me earlier. William is a bastard. When you know the truth, leave him and come back to me. I frowned and shook off his hand. My nails grew longer unconsciously, and there was a tingling pain in my fingertips. I turned to ask the girl, "Do you know Alpha William?" "Yes." The girl nodded, and a werewolf light flashed in her pupils. "Then are those rumors true?" I asked nervously, feeling very nervous. After spending this period of time together, my heart has gradually leaned towards William. The girl looked at Jonah and sighed. "Those rumors are not true at all." "What?" Jonah was shocked and turned around to question in anger, with a low roar in his throat. "How is it possible? Are you lying?" "Shut up." I pushed him aside impatiently and let the girl continue. "Alpha William is actually a kind and friendly person. He is a qualified alpha," the girl said seriously with a hint of gratitude in her voice. "Before, I was attacked by Rouge with a silver knife, and the wound was festering and could not be cured. It was Alpha William who took me to his tent and healed my wound with his herbs. There are many injured girls in the tribe who have been treated by him. Everyone is very grateful to him." I was speechless for a while. It turned out that what William said to me was true. I breathed a sigh of relief, and the big stone in my heart finally disappeared. Jonah on the side had a gray face like a defeated wolf. He murmured to himself, "Impossible! How could this be?" He raised his head and smiled self-deprecatingly, with a gleam of despair in his pupils. "I'm sorry, Harper. I was so stupid. I thought that as long as I made you hate him, you would come back to me. I was wrong. I shouldn't have failed to cherish you." I shook my head, my nails gradually retracted, and the pain in my fingertips disappeared. "You are really wrong, Jonah. Even without William, I would not like you. Because now you are no longer the Jonah who loved and valued me before. I am doing well now. Just give up this idea. Let's never meet again." He turned away in despair, his back looking particularly lonely in the moonlight, like a lone wolf expelled from the wolf pack. I returned to the tribe and was about to look for William when I saw him standing at the door of the tent, his golden pupils flashing wild light in the sun. He was talking to his subordinates. His voice was low and majestic, like a wolf king declaring his sovereignty. Alpha William, Luna Harper, and Jonah just met, and there was a little girl with them. The subordinate reported in a low voice, his ears trembling slightly, like an alert wolf. "I don't know what they said. Jonah seems to be particularly sad." William's voice was a little proud, and a sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. It must be that Jonah wanted her to go back again, but she refused. "Then you should be very happy, right?" the subordinate said with a smile, showing his sharp canine teeth. "After all, you have been secretly in love with Luna Harper for so many years." "You talk too much." William kicked him unhappily, and his movements were as agile as a wolf pouncing on its prey. The subordinate dodged and continued to speak, with a hint of ridicule in his voice. "What's there to hide? We have worked with you for so long, and everyone knows that you like Luna Harper. If it weren't for Luna Harper, you would have died in the forest. I remember that you met Rouge when you went out hunting, and your old injury relapsed, making you unable to move. Fortunately, Luna Harper passed by, and she thought you were a lone werewolf, so she treated your wounds and fed you herbs. Rouge? Had it really been 7 years ago? My memories were a little hazy, and a wounded black wolf appeared in my mind, with painful light flashing in its golden pupils. It was so long ago, William's subordinate in the tent continued, with a hint of emotion in his voice. As soon as you returned to the tribe, you started to inquire about her every day. Luna Harper is beautiful and gentle, and many young werewolves in the tribe like her. You were afraid that she had already had an arrangement with someone else, and you inquired about her every day. After you found out that her and Jonah, you were still sad for a long time. I was stunned and looked at the tent in front of me in disbelief. The air was filled with a faint smell of wolf, as if reminding me of the authenticity of all this. So William knew me a long time ago. He and I made a pact, not just on a whim, but because of the love accumulated over so many years. My heart was filled with sweetness, and I was moved to tears for a while. Tears slid down my cheeks and dripped on the back of my hand with a hint of warmth. At this time, the curtain of the tent was lifted, and William walked out from inside. His golden pupils flickered with gentle light in the sun, like a wolf guarding its partner. He saw me stunned for a moment, and then found that I was crying, and instantly became nervous, his ears trembling slightly like an uneasy wolf. "Harper, what's wrong with you? Why are you crying?" There was a trace of panic in his voice, and his fingertips gently wiped away my tears. The rough touch made me feel warm. I looked at him quietly, and tears still couldn't stop falling. He became more anxious, and his golden pupils flickered with worry. "Don't cry. Did someone bully you? Tell me. I'll find someone to kill him now." I burst out laughing and reached out to hug him. His chest was strong and warm, with the unique heat of a werewolf. "No one bullied me. I just love you too much." Was in disbelief for a moment. His pupils shrank slightly, like a wolf hit by a surprise. He grabbed my shoulders and asked excitedly, "What did you say? Say it again." I smiled and hugged him tightly. My nails unconsciously grew longer, and I felt a tingling pain in my fingertips. I just love you too much." "Oh my God!" William shouted excitedly, with a low growl unique to werewolves in his voice. He held me and turned around many times, like a wolf king announcing victory. He laughed excitedly for a while, and rubbed against my shoulders like a coquettish wolf. I patted his back, and my fingertips gently stroked his hair. "Calm down, don't be too excited." He coughed, put me down, and showed a restrained smile on his face. But the joy in his eyes could not be concealed, and the golden pupils flashed with happiness. "Me too. I like you very much, Harper." I leaned in his arms, and my face was full of uncontrollable sweetness. The air was filled with a faint smell of wolf and the aroma of herbs, as if to crown our happiness. I finally found a partner who will truly love me. It's great. After that, I never saw Jonah again, but I heard that he and Emma had turned against each other. The two slandered each other every day, swore at each other, and even fought each other. But no one expected that on the day when they quarreled the most, the two of them actually released their wolves and started a life-and-death fight on the edge of the cliff. In the end, the two wolves fell off the cliff together and no one survived. But that had nothing to do with me.